Hi guys, it's Amy Catherine here, and this is your weekly reading for February 17th through 23rd, 2020. Okay, so this week I was guided to use the Rider-Waite deck, and this is what the back looks like. This is what the death card looks like. And there's no such thing as a bad card in the deck, so don't be afraid of Tarot and that stereotypical death card, because it rarely actually means physical death. It usually means you're undergoing a massive change. There's no such thing as a bad card in the Tarot, because there's no such thing as, when you're getting a good reading from a reader, a bad reading, because everything from Divine is empowering, and I can't say it's always Pollyanna positive, but what they do is they always try to guide us in a way that's encouraging us, and sometimes we have heavy hitter situations that require heavy hitter cards. So I am sometimes a little bit nervous about using this deck, because as much as I talk about there's no scary card in the deck, I know that it can be really intimidating for you guys. So regardless of the cards that we pull today, because it's going to be as much of a surprise for me as it is for you guys, we're going to go through it together, and I'll explain what it means together and channel that information. So one second, let me go ahead and shuffle. Humbly request the services of everybody's guides and angels to please come forward and assist me in delivering a message that serves everybody's highest good. Please let this message be empowering and let us understand them with profound clarity. Thank you. Okay, they said one more poker deck shuffle. I'm not as really talented as some of these guys in like the casinos and stuff, where they just make it look so easy. I'm sitting here like making faces and stuff, so bear with me. Almost done. Okay, we're good. So we're going to do one card for Monday, Tuesday, one card for Wednesday, Thursday, and one card for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you haven't been to my channel before, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw 3 cards. Got Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What I do with Tarot, unlike what I do with my Oracle cards, is I do like to read reverse cards. We only have one card that's reversed, and the reason that I do that is because I feel that it helps us understand any challenges that come up in regards to the archetype of that card. So when you look at a card upside down, it's a heads up, let's focus a little bit harder on this. That's all that it means, because again, there's no such thing as a bad card. So for Monday, Tuesday, we have a direct card, and that is the 8 of Swords. So it's 5, 6, 7, 8. I gotta count my numerals. That is this card right here, and I'm going to have a larger version of that card up on the screen. This is from the Sword Suite, and when she shows up, it is somebody who is under the illusion of feeling stuck. So when this card shows up, it says, don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't get into that entrapment of the victimhood mentality, because if you take a closer look at the card on the screen, you can see that the blindfold is really loose. You can also see that her binds are pretty loose, and that the swords are only blocking her from going back into the past. That card shows up for people who have a tendency of wanting to throw a pity party, getting upset, kind of getting caught up in this sort of pity party mentality and the poor me mentality, when that's really in reality just a story you're presenting to yourself. You can change your reality and you can change your future just by changing how you think about the situation. So if you try to not get stuck on looking at and hyper-focusing on closed doors, you can find new ones by continuing to press forward and to really loosen those binds a little bit and get out of that funk. And by doing that, you just recognize, okay, I recognize that I feel this way, but I'm not going to get trapped by this story. What can I do to improve my situation? And sure enough, a really great card comes up for Wednesday, Thursday. It is a major arcana card, and it is direct. It is the Wheel of Fortune. This card has a lot going on. The 4 beings in the card represent the 4 corners of the earth. This is a card that actually spells out the Tarot, and it has Kabbalistic numbers, or Kabbalistic alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet, pardon, on the front as well, and it's got some alchemical symbols as well. When this card shows up, it's not to be confused with the game show Wheel of Fortune. That is completely separate, but they both have this theme of chance, of fate, and of good fortune. This this means that there are going to be some divine synchronicities that show up on Wednesday, Thursday. And when this card shows up, it's a heads up. Look for those synchronicities. So Monday, Tuesday, work on getting out of that funk. And then Wednesday, Thursday, see what comes along. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we also have a major arcana card. It is reversed. It's Judgment. And that's not a bad card. When it's right side up, it looks like the Rapture. That's Archangel Gabriel. And I'll have a larger version of the card on the screen. So when this card shows up right side up, it's about karmic finality. It is a release from old karma. When it's upside down, it means we've got a little bit more to go, or there's some T's that need to be crossed and some I's that need to be dotted. Let me channel what that means for this card. This means that things are coming to completion at a slower pace than you would like, or a slower pace than you think is expected. That usually means you're releasing some pretty heavy karma. Like I've been talking about in previous videos, we had some major astrological events earlier this year with Pluto conjunct Saturn. That was that karmic reset button. So for a lot of us, we're releasing slowly a lot of heavy karma. I predict that we're going to be releasing a lot of that until about the winter solstice. And this is stuff that's happened not only through past lives and past incarnations, but also early on in this lifetime. So if you've had like stuff that happened decades ago suddenly coming back to the surface, it's time for it to be released in some way. So I feel like that's really interesting too, because we have a new moon in Pisces this weekend on Sunday, February 23rd. And what's really interesting about new moons is they are all about beginnings, but they're also about starting something fresh. And I like to think of it as the completion of the exhale. So the quick and dirty when it comes to moon cycles and doing stuff and doing work to release or remember which moon cycle is good for releasing and which one's good for bringing in new stuff. New stuff is under the new moon. The new moon is essentially the same thing as when you complete that exhale and you're about to start inhaling and indrawing in. The full moon means your lungs are full and you can go inhale, and it's at the apex of the inhale and you're about to release. So moon cycles, the new moon always happens about 2 weeks out from the full moon. So when you're releasing something, it might not immediately happen right after the full moon. It might happen throughout the duration of the 2 weeks right after the full moon, leading up to the new moon, which is the time for indrawing and bringing in and receiving. What's really cool about this new moon in Pisces is we have the Sun conjunct moon, which is great for starting new things in general, but we also have the Sun conjunct moon and conjunct Mercury, the planet of communication. Now Mercury's in retrograde, yay! I've talked about Mercury retrograde a little bit in my last weekly reading. Nothing to be afraid of, it just means we're doing some revisions. But what's really interesting is that this is a fortunate aspect because the Sun, Moon, and Mercury are in a sextile with Mars, and that is a harmonious aspect. But get this, there's another aspect too. Mars trines Uranus, which is one of the most harmonious energies you can have in the astrology, on the astrological chart. So when that shows up, that's about starting new beginnings. Expect the unexpected. They're also, the Sun, Moon, and Mercury are also sextiling Uranus, which means that the Sun sextile Uranus is about happy surprises. So this is not only a time of unexpected windfall and unexpected serendipity and synchronicities, but it's also a time to start a new project. It's almost like this is going to be a good time to start a new work project, doing something professionally, doing something with your passion and maybe from an activity standpoint, because Mars represents the warrior archetype. That's somebody who's fierce, very athletic, somebody who is take charge, very passionate. Uranus represents the higher octave of Mercury, and that is brilliance, that is thinking sideways, that is coming up with a new, unique, sort of quirky idea. It's a very interesting, sort of aloof air elemental sort of energy. And Mercury is, of course, the planet of communication, and the moon represents your emotions, and the sun represents how you show yourself externally to the world. So these are all in some really good aspects. So this is a good time to make a wish or start a new project. In addition to that, I believe the Sun conjunct Moon is also conjunct a royal fixed star. There's only 4 of those in the constellations, and you can Google them. Regulus is another one, Aldebaran is another one, and I forget the 4th one. But this star is called Fomalhaut, Fomalhaut, I think is what I'm pronouncing it as. And it is also one of the stars affiliated with one of the 4 archangels, and that is the star of Archangel Gabriel, also known as one of the 4 horses of the apocalypse. Don't be afraid, it's actually a good star. It's a good star that's very fortunate when it's conjunct the sun, and this is also a great star for taking things that are physical and turning them into spiritual things. So this is a great sort of spiritual energy. That energy and Archangel Gabriel traditionally also represents water to a degree, and it's also, this is all going on in Pisces because we got that new moon in Pisces, which is a very spiritual sign. So I feel like in conjunction with starting new projects, this could also be a great new moon to do something spiritually or to start a new spiritual or artistic initiative. So if you enjoyed this reading, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. I give out free weekly readings on this channel every Sunday morning. I also come up with monthly things in regards to doing more things spiritually and developing your intuition and intuitive phrases and understanding things from developing your psychic abilities and so on and so forth. So don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also book an appointment with me online in the links below. I am also at Forever in a Day in Woodstock, Georgia if you find yourself in the Atlanta area on Tuesdays and Fridays, and you can book an appointment with them through their phone number, which I have listed below, and also have their website listed below. But wait, there's more. You can also subscribe to my newsletter, which you can receive free monthly astrological reports and monthly readings. I give my newsletter subscribers a custom monthly reading, and I also send them updates on not only blog posts, but events and what I'm doing if I have any classes coming up. I also have a class coming up on February 22nd at Forever in a Day. It is my Tarot 101 class. Yes, that class was postponed because unfortunately on February 8th we had a snow day out of the blue, and we didn't want anybody risking any injury coming in because it was starting to stick to the ground. I was like, no, so they closed the store early and we postponed it to the 22nd. So you do still have time to book that online, and I'll make sure to place that link below as well. So take care, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and please send out the word and share if you like it, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.